Of all the instrumental families, brass instruments, much like the people who play them, are pretty straightforward and simple. The principle is that you get a piece of tubing, a length of tube, and you buzz your lips at one end, and the length of tube changes your buzzing sound into a different sound. The most straightforward of all the brass instruments is the bugle. Bugles were designed mainly for use on the battlefield. They're small and they're light, easy to carry around. As an instrument, the drawback of them is they are limited. You can only play the notes of what is called the harmonic series on a single length of tubing. That is, you can't play scales, and you certainly can't play chromatic notes, the black notes and white notes that you can on, say, a piano. Let me show you what I mean. This is a French horn, and it works the same way as a bugle. It's a long piece of pipe, and you buzz your lips down it, and you can make a sound. Okay? Now, I want you to completely ignore this stuff in the middle for the moment, and just think about the bit that's going around the outside. Okay, so it's basically a big coil. Now, if I buzz my lips down it, just like in a bugle, I can only get a few different notes. Okay, I can't play scales, I can only play those bugle call type notes. Now, before about the year 1850, this is what French horns looked like, but without this stuff here. They only had the coil of tubing. After that, they started adding what are called valves. These are these here, these valve keys. Now what these do is they divert the air into these other bits of tubing here and change the length of the instrument. And they make it longer. And of course, if you make something longer or bigger, you can play lower. If I press this second valve down, the air is now going to go through here on its way out the end of the instrument, and it makes it a semitone lower. So here's no valves at all. And here's the second valve down. Now if I press the first one down, it's going to send it through this one here, which is a bit longer than this one. If I press the first two valves down together, it's now going to send it through both of these lots of tubes here to make it longer still. And when you play these in combinations, it means you can play scales. And that's how modern brass instruments work. 200 years before trumpets and French horns started getting valves fitted so they could play scales and chromatic notes, that's all the white notes and black notes, there was already a brass instrument that could do exactly that. And that instrument was called a sackbut. Now, as you could probably see from that, the sackbut was the early version of the trombone. And this is a very, very simple idea, but so effective. It's great. You have a slide in the middle of the instrument here, so the air is going down here, and on its way out the end, it has to go through this bit here, where the slide is. And simply by moving the slide, you make the instrument longer. And by making the instrument longer, it means you can play lower notes. So we have right at the top here, this is called first position. Now if I move the slide down a bit into what we call second position, I get the semitone down. And as you go down the slide, there's 6 positions in all. What a simple idea. A chromatic brass instrument, 200 years before trumpets and French horns could do that. Now, this got me thinking. I've shown you in previous videos how you can buzz your lips down a tube to make a didgeridoo. So I'm wondering, how hard could it be to make a fully functioning trombone? And here it is, my trombone. Let me talk you through it. So, what we've got here is 2 lengths of metal tubing. The white tube here is the hanging rail, the wardrobe hanging rail, which I used in my bat phone last 2 weeks ago. And this tube here is the copper tubing I had, which I was talking about making into a bell. But what I noticed is the copper tube just fits inside the hanging rail. So there's my slide. Okay? Now, this copper tubing was a bit sort of sharp and a bit tough on the old lips, so I've added a mouthpiece. There it is. Now this is the top from a diffuser bottle. You know those things that your mum might have at home, where you put vanilla essence in and then you put the bits of wood in to diffuse the smell. So that's one of those, which has got a nice convenient hole in the top there. And at this end, it's a funnel to make the sound better. Okay? Now, unlike a regular trombone, this hasn't got the slide in the middle. The slide actually is the whole instrument, so you're kind of a bit limited. But here we go. I'm going to stand back so you can get the full glory of the sound. Here we are. I'm pretty pleased with that. I can play 5 different notes on it. I've worked out that fully extended is playing an F, so I can play the first 5 notes of an F major scale. This means that we can actually play a tune on this.